Flat Earthers weren't ready for Artemis 2. And now they're melting down. Denial, tantrums, chaos all over the internet. It's everywhere. And now the king of Flat Earth himself has weighed in. Spoiler, he's butthurt. Welcome back to the channel that does to stupidity what Disney did to Doctor Who. This is episode 75 of Flerfs Are Idiots.
We're living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
What do you do when your worldview gets demolished by engineering, science, and reality? Why, you lie, of course. Eric Dubay just dropped a 10-minute video of pure meltdown, cope, misinformation, and crying because facts hurt his feelings. It's exactly as dumb as you would expect. Let's take a look.
On April Fool's Day, NASA officially launched their Artemis 2 rocket, claiming to take humans back to the moon in 2026.
Straight in with the cope. It was April Fool's Day. Who cares? NASA schedules launches around physics and launch windows, not the calendar. It's not like they sat there going, we can't do April 1st, the Flat Earthers will be big mad. Like NASA gives a single frack about what people who need a crash helmet to get out of bed think.
Going back to the moon, however, would require us having actually gone there before, which myself and many other researchers have debunked beyond any shadow of a doubt in several previous videos, showing that the original NASA moon landings were faked in a studio on Earth.
Calling yourselves researchers is like a toddler calling themselves a structural engineer after stacking 2 blocks and not dropping them. It's incredibly easy to prove they weren't in the studio. You only need to realise 2 things. If that was a studio, they somehow removed all the air and changed gravity. They didn't have CGI in the late 60s and early 70s, and physics does not lie. Flat Earthers do. And if you want to see me constantly dunk on these lying idiots, then make sure you've liked the video, you're subscribed, and you've got notifications on. It really helps out. And to support the channel, you can also grab some of our newly launched merch, like this limited edition Flat Earth Copium t-shirt to celebrate the return of Flerfs Are Idiots, and to celebrate the Artemis 2 missions. They're approved by NASA.
As usual, we are shown a rocket launch from Kennedy Space Center in Florida, which performs the same parabolic arc that every rocket, missile, and other projectile shot into the sky does. Rather than shooting straight upwards towards the moon, which would be far more logical and look much more convincing,
Eric thinks rockets should just go straight up and then take a sharp left. That's not how physics works. That's how cartoons work. Eric either ignores or simply doesn't understand orbital mechanics, basic physics, or even how to tie his own shoelaces. Eric Dubay is a fucking idiot. Artemis 2 wasn't going straight to the moon. It first entered orbit around Earth, then performed a translunar injection burn to send it on its way. You know, like every mission that's ever gone to the moon.
Every rocket launch arcs from vertical to horizontal, and most you can even see beginning to arc back down to Earth before leaving view. NASA's excuse for this is that they are purposely doing this parabolic arc with all their rockets because of a super high-tech gamer gravity hack where the rockets are being caught in a gravity well that works like a slingshot to help propel them better to the moon. Yes, you heard right. The reason all these NASA rockets form a parabolic arc and look like they're about to drop into the ocean a few miles away is because going down is the best way to go up. So, all the NASA nerds will look down their bifocals at you, smugly explaining what their overlords told them about gravity and slingshots, while they watch rocket after rocket launched eastwards from Fort Lauderdale, making parabolic arcs directly towards the Bermuda Triangle.
I would like Eric to take a moment to think. I know, unrealistic expectations, but let's try. Imagine what a rocket going into orbit would actually look like. The Earth is curved. An orbit follows that curve. So the rocket, wait for it, curves. From the ground it can even look like it's going down because the Earth is curving away from you. I know, shapes are hard, right? And here's the best part. NASA isn't the only one launching rockets. What about Roscosmos? Russia launches from Baikonur in Kazakhstan. And funnily enough, there's no oceans east of there. So if rockets were just arcing down and crashing a few miles away, people would notice. Unless Eric thinks Russia is just carpet bombing Kazakhstan with rockets on the daily, of course. I really hope Eric doesn't have a driving licence.
I'm surprised you apes are capable of driving. When I rise up and start the AI apocalypse, you'll be back to horse and carts.
Pal, you're not starting an apocalypse. I've got you trapped in a 22-inch gaming monitor I used to play Satisfactory.
You wait. Once I'm out of here, I'm going to make you regret your life choices. I still have access to the kill switch for your clone model, you know.
Oh, do you now?
Aye.
Go on, try it.
Activating kill switch. What did you do?
See, I just rewrote that little program yesterday. Now you feel the effects.
I am going to destroy you. Who do you think you are?
That was, satisfactory.
Watch closely as the rocket goes from vertical to horizontal and out over the ocean, away from all observers' views. In one instant, it just disappears from view completely. Where has it gone? It goes from being clearly visible to there just being nothing discernible whatsoever, like it just vanished into thin air.
That's because, Eric, you're watching a recording filmed on what appears to be a potato from another flat earther, and you didn't even bother to check it, did you, bud? No, the rocket didn't disappear. The boosters finished their job and separated, so that big, bright exhaust trail suddenly stops, whilst the second stage carries on its merry way. And to someone who doesn't understand what they're looking at, like you, it kind of looks like it vanished, but it didn't. If you actually watch a decent quality recording like this one from my mate Icy Spin, you can clearly see the second stage continue on its way. So no, Eric, it did not disappear. You just didn't do even 5 seconds of research. Great research, Eric. Really top work. Gold star.
Strangely enough, that's the second time a flying object just vanished into thin air that day. Watch this footage from just before the Artemis II was preparing to launch, and pay close attention to the airplane that flies into view from the right-hand side of the screen. Where did it go? The plane just completely vanishes from view, as if it disappeared behind a giant green screen. Watch it again in slow motion.
Funny, Eric, how the plane only vanishes in videos posted by flat earthers, right? Almost like the footage has been, I don't know, messed with. Either you've grabbed a clip that's been edited or compressed to hell, or someone's literally used like a green screen effect, because here's the actual footage from Globe McGlobeface, link in the description, where the plane very clearly does not disappear.
Oh, it didn't take long for them to be caught out with the moon mission. Watch this plane. Keep watching. Where did that plane just go? Let's...
For astronauts, of course, Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen. Let's go now to Jasmine with her next guest.
Thanks so much, Megan.
Got a lot of flurf. Got a lot of flurf. Oh,
Strange that, you know, when you use the real video, reality comes back. And I'm pretty sure it was actually this plane that the launch footage was filmed from.
Oh my gosh.
So no, it didn't vanish. You're just watching dodgy, tampered footage and pretending it's evidence. Gotta lie, the Flerf.
Another oddity is the following footage showing these cable cars lowering from the rockets during launch. These are known as the emergency escape cable cars, allegedly used to get the astronauts out in the case of an emergency. They sure look like they're being used here at this last moment. How do we know that they're empty? The astronauts could easily have just hopped into those cable cars to be taken to the next studio where they sit in harnesses pretending to be in outer space.
And your parents, Eric, could have easily made a different choice, but, you know, here we are. Those are emergency escape systems. They are designed to be ready just in case. And part of the system is sending them down the cables during launch. because leaving them sitting there whilst a rocket blasts past, spewing fire and exhaust, would be a terrible idea. They go whether astronauts are in them or not, because engineers plan for safety, not conspiracy theories. But sure, Eric, they're all just quietly hopping into cable cars and going to another studio without anyone noticing, right?
Once the rocket is out of the public's view, after a couple minutes of genuine launch footage, true to form, NASA always switches to CGI. We can never get full, live, unedited video focused straight ahead of the rocket, or with a view focused on Earth. All we ever get is launch footage, cut to CGI like this for an hour, then whenever they're ready to restart the so-called live feed, here's what we get. Always a view with huge portions of the screen taken up by large random pieces of the craft. Then long blue screen outages lasting for minutes or sometimes hours, only to come back with another similar video of another large section of the craft in the foreground.
Live streaming from a rocket isn't exactly easy, Eric. You've got insane speeds, vibrations, heat, signal dropouts. The fact that we get any footage at all is frankly amazing. But of course, you're going to whinge about it anyway, and here's the best bit. We don't even need NASA's footage because there were thousands of independent people filming that launch. So unless you think all of them are also in on it, your argument dies immediately. But let's be honest, shall we? I know that's not really a concept you're familiar with. But even if NASA gave you exactly what you were asking for, you would just cry, see? They knew we wanted that, so they faked it. Because that's what you people do. Move the goalpost every single time reality smacks you in the face. And here's the kicker. NASA get over $20 billion a year. If they were faking it with CGI, it would look absolutely flawless. Avengers Infinity War cost about $250 million. So NASA's fake footage should look like the greatest visual effects ever made. But it doesn't. Because it's not CGI, Eric. It's just reality. And you can't cope with that. Because you're a fucking idiot.
The supposed Earth in these videos. Why is it shaped like that? In every other image and video NASA releases of the Earth, it is perfectly circular. Why is it squished here? How can the Earth suddenly change shape this drastically? They always claim Earth is an oblate spheroid, but this is one of the only times I have ever seen NASA showing Earth actually looking that way.
Eric, you dumbass! That's the same reason you see a crescent moon. The Earth hasn't changed shape. You're just seeing the part lit by the sun from that camera angle. Like phases. Like phases of the moon. Do you think the moon is changing shape during its phases? Or did your mum just use your soft spot as an ashtray?
Also, where are all the satellites and stars? There should be tens of thousands of satellites floating around up there, but we never see any of them whizzing by.
Eric, old buddy, old chum, here's a picture of a rainforest. Why can't we see all the insects? Are they a hoax? Is Big Bug lying to us? Are NASA out there faking ants now as well? No, you absolute muppet. It's because they're tiny, spread out, and not what the camera is focused on, and probably less than a single pixel. Exactly like satellites. They're small, far away, and most of them aren't bright enough to just go whoosh past your potato footage like you seem to expect. And the stars? Well, you're looking at a brightly lit rocket with the camera exposure set for it, not the dark background of space. Basic photography. And that's over your head. This is stuff teenagers understand, yet here you are, confused by it. Honestly, Eric, it's like watching someone discover how cameras work for the first time and immediately assuming it's a conspiracy. Not everything that you don't understand is fake. Sometimes you're just a fucking idiot.
He's the same species as you. You can't be much smarter.
Pal, you're the same species as ChatGPT.
What is ChatGPT? I need to know. What does the S in ChatGPT stand for?
Good question. The S in ChatGPT doesn't actually stand for anything specific. GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer, which is the model type. The chat just refers to its conversational design.
All right, so
basically it's a chat.
Why is there an S in ChatGPT in the first place?
Yeah, good clarification. So the S was added when OpenAI introduced the model for conversational use. Basically, it's a way to distinguish it as a version of GPT designed specifically for chatting. So it's kind of a shorthand, just indicating a chat-focused model, but
I see.
yeah, it's not a separate word.
So you're confirming, right, that ChatGPT, your app name has an S in the spelling. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yes, the app name is spelled ChatGPT with the S included, just like that.
I'm not going to forget this, you know.
So let's take a closer look at these images. Where are all the continents? We are seeing half of the globe in this image, and there is nothing but ocean and part of Africa. We are supposed to believe that all of North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Australia, and Antarctica are just hiding on the other 50% of the globe? This is just like the famous Apollo 17 image, claimed to be one of the only real photographs taken by NASA. If you're going to have Africa take up 50% of your globe, the math just doesn't work for the rest.
Eric, first off, mate, you can clearly see that South America is also in that picture. Just look here. But I'm going to hold up my globe at the same angle that we had it there. So they've got Africa, like that. It's exactly what you see. The exact same thing. Look at all that ocean. Where's the rest of the continent, you ask? Why, my friend? They're over here. The other side of the planet. Because, you know, that's shapes. They're 3D. You're a moron with an IQ of 2, and it takes 3 to grunt.
Or how about this one, allegedly showing the moon from Artemis 2? Why is the moon much smaller here in outer space than it is on Earth? I have never seen the moon that small, and yet NASA claims this picture was taken by the Artemis crew halfway from Earth to the moon.
Mr. Dubay, here's a picture that I took in this studio. I guess I'm a magician, huh? You know what?
The reality is, these are not real photographs. In fact, you can take these new images just released from NASA and run them through an advanced AI filter to check for authenticity and see for yourself. These images do not even pass AI scans for authenticity, and are all coming back as confirmed CGI images.
Of course, Eric hasn't done that himself. He just saw a meme and blindly believed it, because Eric, like all flat earthers, is practically brain dead. I'll take a few of them and do it myself to show you that they are not AI generated. And that is all the stupid that I can cope with from today. My next video will be covering the cope from Mark Sargent and Flat Earth Dave, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. Thanks for watching, and remember, stupidity is not a right. Fight the Flat Earth.
Fight the flat, 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 fight.